alaikum. Welcome to another episode of Book Reviews. My guest today is author MoinulIslam, who is the author of the children's stories called Anisha's Adventures, and they are based on his daughter. MoinulIslam is from Oldham, and I'd like to introduce him to the studio today. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Nice of you to join us today.
I'm glad to be here today.
I guess fantastic. I've actually seen your books. I think they're absolutely wonderful, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail. So can you tell me about your background, where you're from? And
I came to the UK back in 1980, moved around a little bit, and then we settled in London. So I was here for about 12 years. I moved in 1992 and moved up to the north, live in Oldham now. In terms of what I do, for the last 16 years I've been working in secondary education, managing the Year 11s. So I like to say I'm head of Year 11, the pastoral side, being the designated person for child protection, just the whole rounded support for young people. And I also have a youth work background.
Fantastic. And your book's called Anisha's Adventures. Your first one was published in 2010, is that right?
It was, yes.
Okay, can you tell me more about them, please?
Well, the book, when I first published the book in 2010, I can tell you how it all started. I mean,
yes,
I never really thought it'd go as far as it has. Anisha's my daughter. She was 5 years old, and she used to bring books home, and I used to read to her at night, at bedtime, and the books used to finish, and she'd still be awake. So I'd make up stories, but she'd like to be the main character all the time. So, whatever the story was that I make up, she's the main character. And I said to her, one day, back in 2010, I said to her that I'll write you a book one day, and you'll be the main character. And I thought when she wakes up in the morning, she'd forget about it. Did she forget? No. Every single night for the next 3-4 months, she kept going on and on, when are you going to write my book? When are you going to write my book? So I got a bit fed up. So I thought, you know what, I need to do it now, otherwise my daughter, she's going to make me crazy just asking how long. So that's how it all started. Back in 2010, when I decided that I was going to write her a book, I looked for an illustrator just to build up the characters. I had it in my mind what I wanted to do. I had a lot of input from Anisha as well. We decided on the characters, which you will see in the book with the names and of characters. You can tell that she's had her own input as well. Then we went to Bangladesh in 2010. We had a bit of bad news. My dad was poorly, and she's very close to my dad. When we came back, and my dad passed away while we were there. So when we came back, I thought, you know what, this is the right time, because it's if I'm going to write this book, I want to do it now. And the main characters in this book is Anisha and my dad. So it's that bonding between the two. I wanted to keep that alive, so that Anisha can cherish those moments. So when she grows up, so she doesn't forget him. So that's what made me write the book a lot sooner than I sort of intended to.
I see.
But,
so you felt the time was right, and
the time
you just
was right.
went out and just wrote the stories. I mean, a lot of people say when you get ideas from your own sort of personal experiences, and I suppose you can relate to that.
Oh yeah, as a child, I like to keep it discreet. That I read Ladybird books, the fairy tales, The Princess and the Frog, yes. and I've probably read every single Ladybird book out there. And then I changed towards the mysteries, Franklin W. Dixon, the Hardy Boys, Enid Blyton, the Famous Five, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle as I grew up. But then for some reason I just switched off from books and went towards comics. I had a huge collection of comics, and I sort of really liked reading about magical powers and secret identities, and that is I have actually tried to sort of incorporate what I like into the book as well. And
but that's what children like, don't they?
They do, and the book where Anisha's Adventures, the magic that she has, it's gifts given to her by her grandparents, and they possess the magical powers, and not Anisha herself. And when she wears them, she puts one round her pet pony, and it becomes the flying pony.
Called Chloe.
Chloe.
Yes.
Chloe. I mean, at the time, that even has a significance. The name Chloe. She was into brats,
I
and her
see.
favorite character at the time was Chloe.
Chloe.
So, you know,
Right.
what are you calling your pony? Chloe. Okay, we'll call your pony Chloe. And so
That's
that's her
great.
input.
I mean, how long did it take you to write your first book? I know that they
It
can
took
take
me,
quite a long time, can't they?
I think, about 3 months by the time we came to the final draft. My illustrator, he's fantastic. We worked, we spoke on the phone so many times, and you know, I explained to him how important it was for me to get the characters right and my vision of you know, how I see the book, and he put all that into colours and just made the book look so wonderful. And
So he found you, your illustrator, and then you decided to
yeah,
work together. Mm.
I saw his work online, and I liked what he does, and I realised he was really flexible in terms of his style of illustrating. So you know, I went with him, and it was quite you know, it wasn't a traumatic experience, but it, you know, it was lengthy because the illustrations are so intricate that they took so long to do. But
Absolutely,
to write
yes.
the actual story, the book, the final draft, it took me about 3 months. But and that's not working every day on it, you know,
No,
in my
no.
spare times. But to actually have the finished book in my hand, I'd say start to finish about 7-8 months.
Yeah, these things don't happen overnight. It does take a long time to actually get that finished copy, you know, when you finally decided, right, that's it, because otherwise you can just go on and keep writing, and
Yeah, of course.
you've got to draw the line somewhere, don't
Yeah.
you? So, you know, I think it's an amazing achievement that you've managed to publish children's book, because children's book publishing is really difficult. It can be quite difficult. And you've got another 2 after.
I
published
have.
after that.
I mean, the idea behind Anisha's
Yeah.
Adventures, it's a series. It's not just a one-off book.
Of course, yeah.
And what I want to achieve through this, and it wasn't initially it wasn't like this is what I want to do and this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't like that. It just developed into something bigger than I expected. For me, the achievement was that I've published the book and I've been able to give it to my daughter and close family and friends. You know, here's a copy of the book. And that was the achievement for me. I didn't want. It wasn't intended for me to take it any further than that. But with the reviews that I had and the backing from my illustrator, I think he said, you know, I need to push this. It's an original idea. It's great. And then I started looking at the bigger picture, and I sort of my vision of the book now is this could be a cartoon in the future, because Anisha's Adventures, Anisha the character has no limits to what she can do.
Absolutely.
So my ideas have
Yes.
developed since it's been published, not before. So
I see. So you can take it in different elements as well.
Yeah.
I think that's great in itself.
I think in a recent book, she travelled back in time to the land of the prehistoric. So that's Anisha's Adventures in the prehistoric. We are looking to send her to space, send her underwater, send her to the Amazon. You know, it's just no limits to what she can do.
That's why it's called Anisha's Adventures.
That's right, yes.
Fantastic. And you've named some of the authors' books that you used to read when you were younger. Who's your favourite author?
I think it's difficult to say because
Would it be
at
a
different
children's
age.
author?
Yeah, I think with age, you know, your favourite author sort of changes. But I think the most books I've read would be Franklin W. Dixon's The Hardy Boys. I probably read about 60
Wow.
plus of his books. So I'd say he would have been my favourite.
Okay, no, that's great. And I think when you said about the feedback that has been great regarding your book, do you get young children maybe contacting you and saying, I read your book and it's great?
I do.
Fan mail, perhaps?
I have. I have primary schools write to me after I've been to tell me about. They give me new ideas of where I should send Anisha next, and you know, they'll send me thank you letters. I've been contacted from America because they struggled to get a copy of my book. So primary school in America, the teacher got in touch, and I sent her a copy of the book, and then she sent me pictures back of the young people reading the book and letters back to me as well.
That's so rewarding, though, isn't it? When you get
how much
that.
they enjoyed it.
Yeah. Wow.
So the feedback from young people has been great. I'm just overwhelmed with the sort of response I've had. I mean, it wasn't expected, and I think
that's what makes the job worthwhile.
It does, yeah. And now, because of the response from the audience, I think it's made me think. You know what? I shouldn't just sit on that. It's not finished yet. There's so much potential, so much more we can do with this.
Yeah.
And maybe we have a lot of cartoon characters out there like Dora the Explorer, etc.
Yes.
And then we need a South Asian character, just to create a balance in our society, the community that we serve, I suppose.
And perhaps young Bangladeshi children can relate to someone who's almost similar to them.
Yeah.
So, that's very interesting. And I just wanted to say, who has inspired you in your life, would you say?
I think in terms of being an author, I think it has to be my daughter, Anisha. I think had she not pushed me to write the book, then had she woken up the next morning and forgotten all about it, I think it wouldn't have happened. So she's the person I'd say that's inspired me to write the book.
I mean, does she write herself? Perhaps
she does. She's always bringing stories to me. And what do you think about this? What do you think about the ending to this? And she does. In the house, the rule we have is whatever you want to try, you try. She's just taken up taekwondo quite seriously. She's tried all sorts of sports, dance, but she's taken a liking to martial arts and taekwondo. So now I think on the 17th of July, she had a tournament in Barnsley. She fought and she won, and now she's saying to me, "Dad, do you think I'm ready to retire?" I said,
Not quite yet.
No. Have you got your black belt yet? She said, no. Well, then you're not ready yet.
Oh, that's amazing.
So she's trying new things. And she is very much like the book. She's always asking questions. She's very curious about things. Even now, luckily she doesn't ask me as much questions as she used to, because she has a friend called Google. She'll just Google everything now. If she doesn't understand something, she'll Google it. If she can't be bothered Googling, it's too much effort, in her words, then she'll come and ask me.
To you.
Yeah. Otherwise, Google's the first place she'd
I think a lot of children do that. That's great. And do you have any advice for any potential authors out there, or anybody who's actually writing? Maybe some top tip you could give them?
I think what made me actually pursue writing for the Anisha's Adventures, because the feedback I got from the publishing company is that it was original, something different, and if you've got a story to tell, if it's different, and you want everyone to know, I think you should go with it, because there's so many different ways of publishing a book, and who knows, where we'll have the next best-selling author come from. But I think you shouldn't let it's not easy, but that shouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't do what you want to do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to become a published author and writer, and particularly in the publishing industry, where the Bangladeshis are very underrepresented. So we need more writers out there.
We do.
What would you say to that?
I think we definitely do. We've got great writers out there, but I think the barriers are there. I think it is very difficult to get into, but that shouldn't be a reason why we don't pursue our dreams. I think the more we try, if somebody doesn't do it, then we're not. Everyone's going to think that. Do you know what? It's so hard. I know somebody that's tried and failed, but if somebody's got to do it, someone has to make it mainstream, and then sort of create a pathway for somebody else to follow in. I think everyone should, and for me, it's the legacy you leave behind as well.
Of course,
in 50 years' time, when somebody types the name of your book, it's there, and you're not, but your book is.
Yes, Yeah.
So there is a lot to
Absolutely
gain from writing,
Yes.
and it's very important because working in a school, I know how you know, especially from the BME community, from the South Asian community, majority of our students come into our academy below the national average, you know, in terms of reading, writing, and it's because they're not reading at home. You know, they don't understand the importance of reading. Parents need to encourage their children to read more. It's not just about writing, but if they read, they will understand, you know, that, you know, from reading it leads onto other things.
It does, and that's where you get your ideas from
You
as
do,
well.
you do, and it
Yes.
doesn't have to be a novel. It doesn't have to be
No.
with those magazines out there. You know, as long as they're reading something, you know, the newspaper, reading is so important,
Yeah.
and we do need to push that.
Especially in a society where technology has overtaken
Taken
absolutely everything, you know, even children's lives. So I think that's a very, very important point that you put across. You know, it is important for children to carry on reading, and even the parents to encourage the children to read as well. Even the parents to read with the child as well.
Oh, that if they could do that, and it is changing. We've got a lot of parents now. For example, the young people that are coming in year 7, a lot of the parents have been through the school system. So we do get a lot of parents that do read to their parents. To their children. They do. It is happening.
Yes.
It just needs to happen a lot more.
That's good to hear. And before we end the show, what's your next book about? Are you writing any more at the moment?
Well, we've sent Anisha to the prehistoric already, and
okay.
I think
Is she going to come back? Is she from there?
Oh, she's back already. She's back already. The next book is either going to be Anisha's Adventures in Space, or it'll be underwater.
Okay.
So let's see which one comes out first.
And they're both quite big adventures as well.
They are. I can't wait. I mean, the underwater story. I can just see the colours coming out of the pages.
Yes.
You know, and all the weird creatures that she's gonna see. I mean, I probably not mentioned her special power. She has like a Polaroid camera.
Okay.
And that camera, when it takes a picture, it prints off facts about the object that she's taking a picture of. So she's learning all the time.
Okay.
There's a button on the camera that takes her back in time. So, and when she travels, time stops for her, so nobody really misses her.
Okay.
And she doesn't miss out on anything at all.
Oh, so that's good. That's good. Well, it's wonderful to hear your stories, and thank you so much for joining us today. And best of luck with your future writing
well, thank you
work.
very much for having me here. It was a
you're
pleasure.
welcome.
And I hope we see a lot more young people come out and write.
That's fantastic. Okay. And I'd like to thank my guest, MoinulIslam, today. And I'd just like to end the show with a famous quote by John Gardner. One must be a little crazy to write a good novel. Until next time, goodbye.